Hey, it's Beth. Welcome back to Chill English Dose, a space where we learn English naturally through reflections, stories, and real-life words. Tonight's episode is about those stories that never really end, the ones that keep unfolding quietly, reminding us that growth isn't about closure, but about learning to stay open. It's late tonight. The city outside has gone almost silent. Just a few cars in the distance, a train passing softly somewhere far away. I'm sitting by the window, the lights dim, holding a cup of tea that's already gone cold. There's something about nights like this that makes me think about all the things I've left unfinished. Books with folded pages, messages I never sent, dreams I put aside for later. And for a long time, I used to feel guilty about that. Like every story in my life had to have a clear ending, something neat, tidy, resolved. But life doesn't work that way, does it? Some stories don't end, they just change shape. I think we all carry unfinished stories, things we wish had turned out differently, relationships that faded, projects that paused and never restarted. And sometimes when we look back, we think, if only I had finished it. But lately, I've been wondering, what if unfinished doesn't mean broken? What if it's just becoming? Because maybe not every story needs closure to have meaning. Some stories are meant to stay open, to remind us we're still growing. A few months ago, I found an old journal from years back. The pages were filled with plans and lists, places I wanted to visit, goals I wanted to achieve, versions of myself I thought I'd become by now. As I flipped through it, I realized how many things hadn't gone as I expected. Some never even started. For a moment, I felt that familiar wave of regret. The quiet kind, the one that says, you could have done better. But then, I saw something else. Notes written in the margins, little reflections. Words like, I'm trying again, or maybe next year. And it hit me that the story wasn't over. I was just in a different chapter. We often think growth means finishing, crossing the line, closing the loop, achieving the dream. But what if growth also means continuing even when it's messy? Not everything in life moves in straight lines. Some spiral, some loop back, and some, they simply stay with us for a long time, teaching us the same lesson in new ways. There's a quiet comfort in realizing that some things take longer than we hoped. Healing, forgiving, understanding ourselves. They don't end. They evolve. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we're not supposed to close every chapter. Maybe we're meant to live inside some of them for a while. When I look back, the stories that shaped me most weren't the ones that ended perfectly. They were the ones that lingered. The conversations that didn't go as planned, the plans that changed, the dreams that took a different path. Because that's what growth really is, continuity. Not a series of endings, but a quiet movement forward. Imperfect, ongoing, alive. Tonight, a few words stayed with me. Gentle reminders of what it means to grow without rushing toward an ending. The first word is story. Its basic meaning is a description of events. But stories aren't always written with clear beginnings or ends. Some unfold slowly, through quiet days and small realizations. And sometimes you don't notice the chapter changing until much later. The second word is continuity. It means the state of something continuing without interruption. It's a reminder that life doesn't reset, it flows. Even when you pause, the current still moves beneath you. The next word is growth. It means the process of developing or increasing. But growth isn't always progress you can measure. Sometimes it's learning to stay gentle while things remain unfinished. And one more, acceptance. Its meaning is the act of agreeing to something as it is. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the pressure to make everything make sense right now. When I think about it now, maybe that's what makes life quietly beautiful. The way it refuses to fit into perfect endings. Some stories loop back in unexpected ways. Some drift, some pause, some fade, but all of them matter because they shape how we keep going. And maybe that's enough. I used to think that finishing something meant strength, that if I closed every story properly, tied every loose end, I'd finally feel at peace. But life doesn't wait for closure. It keeps unfolding, even when you're still learning the last part. And maybe that's where the beauty hides. Because when you stop rushing to finish everything, you realize how much life exists in between plans and outcomes, between letting go and holding on, between who you were and who you're slowly becoming. The truth is, not every story ends with clarity. Some end quietly, with no explanation. Some just fade into memories that no longer hurt, but still hum beneath your days. There's no perfect timing for peace. Sometimes peace comes years later, disguised as understanding. And sometimes peace doesn't come at all, just the quiet realization that you're okay anyway. I think that's what growth really means. Staying open, not closing everything off the moment it feels uncertain, not rushing to move on, but learning to walk with the unfinished. Because if you think about it, we're all unfinished. We're stories still being written, one sentence at a time, one choice at a time. Every mistake, every delay, every pause, it's not the end. It's part of the continuity that makes your story alive. When I read old journals, I don't see failure anymore. I see evidence of someone who kept trying, even when the plot didn't make sense yet. And that's a kind of courage we don't celebrate enough. I wrote a few more words tonight, the kind that remind me to stay present in the middle of unfinished things. The first one is process. It means a series of actions taken to achieve something. But sometimes the process is the point. Even when the result changes, the effort still matters. The second is patience. It means the ability to wait calmly. Patience isn't passive. It's active trust. It's believing that what's meant to unfold will do so in its own time. And the last one? Becoming. It means the process of coming to be something. There's something soft about that word. It doesn't demand arrival. It lets you be in motion, still learning, still forming. Some stories never end. And maybe that's how they're supposed to be, because endings aren't proof of growth. Continuity is. The fact that you're still here, still trying, still feeling, that's proof enough that the story's still alive. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to rush toward a final chapter. You just need to keep turning the page, slowly, honestly, and with grace. Growth doesn't mean finishing. It means returning to yourself, to awareness, to compassion. Sometimes I imagine that the universe keeps a quiet shelf somewhere, filled with all the unfinished stories we've ever left behind. Dreams half done, letters unsent, promises we couldn't keep. And maybe instead of judging us, it holds them gently, like open books, waiting for us to return someday, if we ever need to. What story in your life feels unfinished? And what would happen if you allowed it to stay that way? Would it still hold meaning? Would it still be part of your growth? Could you love it, even if it never ends the way you planned? Sometimes letting things stay open is the kindest way to let them live. Some stories never end. They pause, return, evolve, and so do we. Maybe that's not something to fix, but something to honor. Because life is not a book we close. It's a story we keep revisiting, each time with softer eyes, each time with deeper understanding. You're allowed to carry stories that don't have endings yet. They don't make you stuck. They make you human. If tonight's story helped you pause and see your own journey with softer eyes, subscribe to Chill English Dose for more calm English stories, gentle reminders that help you grow slowly and rest where you are.